Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, War Robots lovers from all over the world.
Hi.
We're really happy to greet you today from Pixony headquarters and have some big things to share with you. Today with us here our lead game designer, Vlad.
Hi guys.
Vlad, how are you?
I'm fine.
Great, thank you. And your humble community manager, Stan. That's me. Okay, so we've got big plans, big features to talk about, but before that, just to check it out, if everything is going smooth and the stream is okay, write in the comments, share likes, loves and wows with you just to let us know that everything is alright. And of course, don't forget to share this video with your friends and other pilots if you want to have streams like that in the future. Alright, one more thing. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comment section and we will try to answer them in the end of the stream. Alright? Good. Then let's roll. Without any further ado, let's go to the presentation, I think.
Yeah, let's start. Okay, first of all, I'd like to say I'm super excited to have all you guys on the other side of the screen this Saturday evening. And tonight we are going to share with you some of our thoughts on our plans on War Robots, and the things we are going to share with you are pretty big. They are still in concept, they are still designed, so if you feel like you have another opinion on how they should be made, share it in comments below. So let's start from the thing that what we are going to talk about today. We are going to talk about modules or subsystems.
Models, a new big feature that is going to come to War Robots.
Yeah, right. And what we are going to implement, what do we want to have new things from War Robots? Of course, all of us want to have choices that make difference in the game and consequences that bring some different experience of playing. And the absence of ultimate path to victory in the game. So what can we do to make this, to develop it even further in the game? We have already a number of builds that are playable in different leagues, and we already have some meta formed, which is adjusted with the new updates of the game. What do we really want is to broaden the variety of builds and broaden the meta of the hangar setups that we have in the games, and to have more skill-based options. For instance, like the Hellburner ability, like the upcoming Raven robot, and things like that.
So the whole story is about skills, about variety, and about having a choice in general, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And this is one of the things that War Robots were always about. One of the core concepts, customization of the gameplay the way you like it. Alright, let's move on.
So, the thing is about modules. What is basically a module? Right now we have some sneak peek of how they look.
Guys, just remember, this is a rough concept. It doesn't mean that those things will look just the same in the game when models will enter War Robots. But if you like them, feel free to share, to press likes, loves, and to show us that you like those concepts.
Yeah. What is it basically? Basically, it is some kind of equipment for every robot that can be mounted between different slots, just like the same thing as you see in weapons, basically. And if you think of them as another system that affects your gameplay, it is like that, truly. They are upgradable and they bring new abilities to robots.
Wow, even new abilities. That sounds really cool. By the way, as for the upgrades, they are quite the same as with the weapons, right? So
yeah,
like
basically it's all the same. They have some kind of upgrade line, and with each upgrade the module becomes more effective.
Quite logical.
Yeah.
Okay.
what brings, what things can modules bring to your gameplay? The first thing is pretty straight. It's buffs. Basically, you can have plus 10% to your HP, plus 10% to your some kind of damage type, plus 10% to move speed, and all that stuff. The second thing is quite new to War Robots. We don't have it yet, and this is a new feature, which is proc effects. You have, for instance, you have a module that increases the chance of routing the target on hit. When you shoot with your weapon, you have a chance to disable it to move. It can't move, for instance.
Oh, that sounds really sweet.
Yeah.
And as for this root mechanic, will it be only with models, or are there plans to implement it anywhere else?
Actually, when we make it real, when we make it on a production line, the first thing we are going to implement them in some types of weapons.
Oh, weapons with roots. That sounds interesting.
And the thing that we want is to make different builds for players available. For instance, builds directed to root targets, to silence their abilities, to disarm their weapons, and all that stuff. Next thing is passive abilities that will, for instance, we can have destroying the robot the first little hit for the robot makes it invulnerable for some time, for instance for 3 seconds, just for the sake of
so it's some kind of a saving feature.
When you have one last chance to live, to make to bring victory to a team, to make your robot count.
This can be really useful and life-saving in so many situations. Okay.
This is just one passive ability, for example, and there will be others, of course. And the last type that modules can bring to your builds and to your setups is active abilities, which are implemented in a way that you have new gameplay. For instance, you can have orbital strike, you can have some kind of laser gun that puts a target for an orbital strike in the game.
Whoa. Orbital strike.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that sounds really huge.
Think of it as some kind of maybe you remember the ghost unit from StarCraft.
Oh yeah,
it's basically the same actually. Okay. Next, what are modules divided into? There are 3 main classes of modules: offensive, defensive, and special. They are pretty straightforward from their names, and these modules will provide you with some of the types of effects that we already talked about.
So that sounds like models can be some kind of a role for robots. So you can be a little bit more tanky, or a little bit more sniperish, or whatsoever. That's really cool. Guys, by the way, write in the comments which model classes do you like more, or in general, give us wows if you love all of them.
I'd like to add also that these classes are not just for the sake of classification, but there are actual slots in your robots that you can use, for instance, for just offensive modules, for defensive, or for special. So this is the thing that will help us to balance the feature. The next slide here. For instance, we have a Destroyer robot that has 1 attacking module slot, 1 defensive module slot, and 0 special slots. Lancelot, for instance, will have 2 attacking slots, 1 defensive, and 1 special. That's the thing. These slots come not just without anything. They have some kind of modules by default in them. They are not very effective, but still they have some effect on your gameplay.
Do all of the robots have only 3 modules, or different robots can have different amount of models on them?
Amount of modules right now it is restricted up to 4, but it's just for starters. Module types will be 3. There will be 3 module types.
But in general, every robot can have from 1 to 4 models, right?
Yeah, it is true.
Great. Can you define, or can you vary the class of models that are available for each robot? For example, for Destroyer, here we have 1 attack model, 1 defense model, and no special models.
Yeah.
Can we, for example, take this 1 attack model and change it to special model? Oh no, they're predefined.
No, they are predefined the same way like the weapon slots for weapons. You can turn your light weapon slot into medium.
So in general, it's a much easier way to balance it because we can predefine it.
Yeah.
Cool. And well, I guess lots of players right now are asking questions like, can I use those models with old robots, and can some of the old robots receive new abilities?
Definitely.
Wow.
One of the big things that will change is that when modules are released, all the robots in the game, including the old ones and the new ones, will have them.
So all of the robots in general will have them, different amount, and even some oldies can receive new abilities and new cool features that can define their gameplay.
And moreover, we strive for the thing when you can have different build setups for each robot. For instance, you can make Lancelot a very defensive bot. Or, for instance, you can make it a routing bot that will it will bring not lots of damage. Actually, it will make less damage than if you have just usual weapons, but it will have root effects on it. So it helps your team.
So it's all about the customization of your gameplay, the way you play War Robots.
Yeah,
great. All right.
Okay. The next thing is we would like to share with you a bit of interface mock-up. It's just rough basic designs. Don't mind the text in Russian.
Once again, guys, it's a concept. Remember, everything we show here, it's concepts, especially when we're talking about pictures.
We would like to illustrate that it will be quite similar to weapons. So you can see that there are slots for each module, and there is a variety of modules that you can bring in every slot.
By the way, I can see already that there is a question. Are we going to have a slot for modules, or modules will be changed with some of the weapons?
No. Slots for modules are different than from slots for weapons. So it will be like the new tab in the interface.
So like weapons and modules, separate ones. Great, thank you. All right.
The next thing, how do I get modules? Think of it as weapons. It's almost the same. You can have modules by default when you're buying a robot, when you're creating it or receiving it from some kind of reward. And also you can buy new modules from the shop and win them in black market and we are royal. Additionally, we are redesigning our workshop right now, and with our new workshop you'll be able to craft new modules.
All right, so we can receive them, we can collect them, we can upgrade them, change them. Basically, we can do with them the same stuff that we can do with robots and weapons, and we can receive them just the same way we can receive robots and weapons now.
It is true, yeah.
Great.
And next, we are going to share some of the examples of modules that we have discussed, and we love it. We love the designs of it, so we'd like to share them with you. Yeah. For instance, offensive modules. Energized ammo will will have some chance to reduce every X damage that you receive for. Oh, sorry, I talked about that module. Yeah. Energized ammo is offensive model, so actually it has a chance to root the target for these seconds. The thing we were talking about previously. Yeah. And the next thing is a squad leader. When you have your allies close to you, you have some kind of energy field that lowers enemies' resists to the damage made by your allies. So basically, you're buffing your teammates.
Your allies, yeah.
And another example is the death mark. That is when you're dealing some damage to an enemy, and you put a debuff on him, so you lower his armor, you lower his resistance for some time, and the damage made to this target by all your teammates is boosted.
Guys, one more thing, just remember that we don't speak right now about like basic models that can increase your attack damage or increase your defense stats, so there will be models like that, but we want to talk here a little bit
about big stuff, about some really cool things.
Exactly, about something really cool and what we like ourselves. Okay, offensive models, we got it. Anything about defense?
Defensive models is actually the thing I started to talk before. It's think of it as some kind of burst protection. If you're receiving a great amount of damage in a short period of time, Lifesaver can reduce. It's like a cap on the damage that you receive in a period of time.
So, and all the additional damage just goes away.
Yeah.
Great.
It really can save your life if you're like fighting against some build with Orkans or some other burst weapon types. Next thing, Battleborn is pretty straightforward again, and you have all your resists buffed after when you spawn your robot, and for some time you have increased resists. It can be really helpful in game modes like Beacon Rush, when you spawn your robot on the beacon where is a battle and where is a real dogfight. It can be a game changer here.
By the way, will models be available in all the game modes? Just in...
Yep. They will be all available in all the game modes, definitely. But here I'd like to talk a bit more about resists, because I think some of our viewers don't know about this.
I'm pretty sure that not all of you have heard about resists. What is it?
Guys, basically, resists, right now we have 3 types of damage in the game, but it is not mentioned, and it don't has any gameplay effect. We have energy weapons, we have missile weapons, and we have kinetic weapons, aka chain guns, machine guns, sniper guns, cannons. All these 3 types will have some resist type against this damage type. And contrary to that, they will have some armor penetration. For instance, you can buff your weapon so that it will penetrate resist against missiles, for instance.
So basically, for every type of resist and for every type of attack, there will be a controversial thing. Anti-type. Great.
Think of it almost in the same way, like damage and hit points. The same armor penetration and resist to damage types. The next thing is Berserker. When your robot receives some lethal shot for the first time during this match, its health freezes at 1. So you have one more chance to score some points for you.
So you kind of enter a berserk mode, and with 1 health you just blow everything up.
Okay. For some time your robot becomes immune to all the damage.
Sounds really cool and really useful. Guys, for those of us who have just joined and have just entered, we're having a conversation about models, a new big feature that is coming to War Robots. And here with us is Vlad, our lead game designer. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. The next thing is the special modules. They are a bit more tricky, but a bit more interesting. And some things we would like to share. Repair unit is the thing that makes your HP of your robot increases over time, and basically you can restore your hit points. But of course you won't be able to restore it up to full maximum. There will be a cap for amount of HP restored, and this cap will reduce with time. So if there are some old guys listening to us who played games like Jagged Alliance, and there were a pretty same concept of wounds when you can heal your character, but not for the full HP, but for some amount. Some HP won't be healed. This is the same.
Quite realistic, actually.
Yeah.
Very realistic. And by the way, it's another new mechanic that we're gonna have in our game, healing mechanic. With healing bots planned. By the way, there was an article on our official website. If you guys haven't checked it out, just go and read it, because there are lots of interesting things there. All right, let's move on.
The next special module is a diffraction bomb. I think personally it's my like weapon of choice.
Well, favorite one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is very good for jumping bots that go straight into hell, into enemy ranks, and they will be able to unleash a lot of damage. This is the active ability that creates some special zone around the bot that uses it, and this robot can be aimed during the activation of this ability, but at the same time it can't target enemies, but it will wreak havoc on them. So
maybe
most of them will try will be distracted by it, and during that time your teammates are able to shoot them out.
Oh, so it's both a distraction thing and a thing for you to have a big, huge impact on the gameplay. As for the distraction, I can see another one here, Spy.
Yeah, Spy is also a very tricky thing. It is, on the one side, it is very common to stealth mode we have. Basically, you can't target a robot with activated Spy ability, but there is a really big thing that when the ability is activated, in the interface in the HUD of your enemies, this robot appears as their teammate. It will be blue.
Oh.
Yeah. But from your teammates, they will see that you still belong to your team. But your enemies, if they are not very patient, and if they don't pay a lot of attention to what's going on around them
on the battlefield,
on the battlefield, they can easily take you for their teammate,
for another guy. So it can be especially useful in games when pilots don't know each other, they don't know each other's nicknames, especially in the games where there are some robots that are quite alike. So you can just be spied.
Yeah.
All right.
I think of it as a stealth mode with a flavor.
That's nice. Okay.
So some more examples of special modules we have. Attacking drone and repairing drone. They are very similar. It's basically some new kind of game character which is controlled by AI. It is an NPC character, and
another new mechanic.
Yeah, And attacking drone, obviously it attacks target you've marked for attack, and it can do damage without direct visibility with your robot. So you can mark your enemy for attack and go hiding.
So
Yeah.
it's like you've got a little helper by your side. You can even give a name to it, like, I don't know, Johnston. Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
It's one of the things we discussed when we were designing this thing is that basically it brings a whole new level to robots, and it brings mounts for
Yeah, well, actually,
the same as mounts in MMORPG.
Yeah, yep, that's true. Absolutely.
And repairing drone acts quite quite the same from its name, and it heals. Basically, it repairs your robot for some amount of damage, and repair mechanics, as I already told, it is limited, so you can't repair your robot to full HP.
So you both can have an attacking drone, a repairing drone, like a swarm around you.
Yeah, that's true. Bumblebee is also a very interesting concept in my opinion. It is basically a player-controlled rocket. When you're launching it, your view changes to rocket control, not bot. The bot stays inactive during the time when you are controlling your missile. So you can hit targets behind obstacles, and even when usual homing missiles can't hit it, if you're pretty skilled, you can launch that rocket and guide it to every corner of the map.
Oh, so it's like perfect to defeat someone hiding in the...
Yeah, it's like a guidance system, but it is marked with added with the player skill.
Yep.
And if this mechanics proves to be very interesting, which I hope, and we would definitely like to share it in our testing server. Yeah. And maybe we will make not just a module, but maybe some kind of weapon out of it.
Okay, so you mean the models in general can appear on test servers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But that won't be really close.
Of course, yeah. Just remember, guys, everything we're talking about right now is concept. We're still working on it, so we don't have any data, any dates right now. But it's something we are really happy to share with you. We really want it.
Yeah, but you have the chance to influence it, so you can share with us your ideas and change the way we think about it. Yeah. Okay, the last module of these examples is Airstrike. It charges when dealing damage, and when it charged to full scale, it brings telegraph to airstrike, which was in the previous slide I mentioned orbital strike. It's really close. So it actually brings huge AoE damage, and friendly fire will be included, so beware if you have your teammates, your friends there, they will also be damaged.
So like fire from the sky, and there is friends, enemies, everyone.
Yeah. it can be really crucial, and
yeah, you have to choose the right moment.
Yeah, it is true. We would like to talk about the things that we are focusing right now. Modules is a very complex and a very big system, and of course it needs a lot of balancing. This is our main concern, because we don't want them to be any kind of silver bullet. We don't want to make any build better than others. So we will go through a lot of iterations on our test server sessions, and we will address all the issues that our community marks as important.
So first and foremost, we want models to be customizable and to be different.
Yeah. The next thing is user experience, because although we talked about these very exciting things, but one thing is very important for you to understand is that most likely modules will not will be visible on the robot. So they are like more interface thing in the hangar. You'll see them, but on the battlefield, you won't. Of course, if we are talking about controlled rocket or drone, it will be visible. But if we are talking about some kind of module that is increasing your hit points or increasing your resistance, it won't be visible. And we want...
So in general, there will be no additional parts on the robots.
Yeah.
But sometimes with the most important models, we will see special effects and we will know it. And we will see some maybe icons on the robot.
But the thing is that we understand how important it is to know against whom you are fighting.
That's
and if you have, for instance, a root build on your enemy, you definitely would like to know that. So
I would.
Yeah. So we are developing a system of indication that will show hints. For instance, if your opponent is stronger than you, if it's more powerful, if it has some resists on it, you will see that in your HUD, in your user interface. Yeah. And of course, the last but not the least thing is fun.
Yeah, well, fun. After all, we're here for fun.
It is true. And if modules are just things that boost your parameters, boost your damage and hit points, it's not very fun actually. So we are focusing on the things that will change not just the pace of game, but the game and will bring it to a whole new level.
Yeah, okay, well, that's important, that's really important. So it should be not just be balanced or obvious and clear, it should be fun to play after all.
Sure.
Okay, and one more thing we want to share with you guys.
This is a sneak peek of...
You can, by the way, you can try guessing what it is. Just write in the comments, we will give you, a couple of seconds. Try finding out what is it, what we're talking about here. Once again, it's a concept, a very, very rough concept, just to know you. And while you're guessing, for those of you who have just joined, maybe, we're talking about models here, a new feature that is coming to War Robots one day. And here with us is Vlad, our lead game designer.
Okay.
All right, I think we gave you enough time. So, what is it?
Actually, that is our shop redesigned for weapons. Here you can see a Scourge weapon, and on the right side is the icons that are like defining features for that kind of weapon, for that weapon type. They will be indicated, and you'll be able to use them as filters. It will make navigation through the shop better
and easier.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, this looks really neat. Although it's a concept, it's very nice. And
yeah.
Well, I really like the idea of having a way to just choose the kind of or the type of weapon that I like, and just click it and choose from all the weapons of this type or kind.
Right now, if we feel that we don't provide enough information about any weapon, so that player has to use it in battle to understand it full scale. If it's cool or not, if it's helpful or not in his certain robot build. And we hope that our thorough information in this new interface we still can show it to you, but this is just a sneak peek. And there will be much more information about the weapon and about robots. And we hope that it will help to choose weapons for which weapons are better for you.
Which weapons suit you best?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's all we have for today.
That is all. All right. Thank you very much. We were really happy to share these things with you. Once again, if you find it interesting, if you like it, share with us your likes, loves, and share this presentation and this stream. And right now, I think you can ask your questions if there are any. I've seen that there were some of the questions in our chat. Most of them we have already answered, but not all of them. Just a minute. All right. So Roger Maverick Wright asks, do bots we already own automatically get the modules, or they...
default modules will be installed automatically.
All right, so one day they can enter the game and there are models on their robots.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Another thing, can we put models on any older content, or will models be on any new content? I think we've already answered that. So models can be used both on any of the oldies and it is all of the new upcoming content.
But I want to stress your attention that every type of robot will have a different module slot setup, just like for the weapons. So you won't be able to put, for instance, 3 offensive modules for a robot which doesn't have 3 offensive slots.
So it's quite predefined.
Yeah.
Another question here, Dumantas Martinezes. I'm not sure I pronounced it correctly, sorry about that. Do models level up? I think it's about upgrade once again, but we can...
Yes, they will be upgradable, they will level up. And for some modules it will be pretty straightforward, like you will have increased number of HP boosted. But for some other modules which are a bit more tricky, like spy module, there will be some other parameters changed, like they will the duration of this ability will last longer and something like that.
By the way, do I understand correctly that modules stack? So you can use the same models and their effect will be longer, or they will be more powerful, something like that?
Yes, they will stack, but to some extent, of course. We want to have player able to set up different builds, as I already told, some kind of build for silencing, some kind of build for disarming, and it would be very beneficial for them to use all the weapons with this perk and all the modules, if they are able, what modules they can put on this particular robot. But of course, we find some things difficult for balancing, like if we don't own the situation when your target is rooted all the time 100%. It's definitely that we don't want in the game.
It's not very fun,
yeah,
frankly speaking. Okay, another question. Mythic Knight asks, will bots without abilities be able to have more slots or for more modules?
I think that it doesn't affect. You see, active abilities, most of the active abilities are concentrated in the special modules. So if a robot doesn't have an ability by itself, most likely it will have a special slot. Yeah.
Okay, so, well, yeah, pretty yes.
But not for all of them. For instance, for starting line of robot like Destrier, Cossack, Cossack has a bit. For Destrier, most likely there won't be any special slot.
Poor Destrier.
Yeah, but it serves like a rookie bot, you know.
Yeah, learning one. Well, maybe one day on the 1st of April on Fool's Day we will have a Destrier will like 10 models. Who knows? All right. So Roger Maverick Ride asks, will models also come in 3 different weight classes like the weapons, such as heavy, medium, and light models, or there will be only classes like defensive, offensive, and special?
There won't be any classes like heavy, light, medium.
So no weight classes.
Yeah. There won't be weight classes, but it is substituted by their role: attack, offense, defense, and special abilities.
Oh, that is an interesting one. Can modules be damaged during the battle?
Thanks for the idea. Actually, we haven't thought of it, but right now I'm thinking that our critical hits that damage weapon slot can also damage module slot.
The models.
Thanks for the idea. It's really interesting.
That's an interesting one. Another one. Can we say anything about the time of getting models? So is it just the same as the time you need to get a weapon, to produce it, to receive it, or is it more? Is it less? Because models in general,
it will depend. It will depend on its effectiveness. Because right now the game is very concentrated on dealing damage. You have to deal damage to win, a lot of damage, and modules by themselves, most of them don't deal damage. So most likely they will be less powerful than weapons, but in some cases then they could be more powerful. So I can't say right now that will the upgrades last longer or shorter. Because it depends on the module.
On the model itself. So there are like easier models and more complex models. All right. Will there be separate buttons for every model activation?
Come again?
Will there be a separate button for every model activation during the battlefield?
Yeah, actually, but it only affects modules with special abilities. Modules with passive abilities, with buffs, with perks, will act in passive mode. So you don't need a button for that.
to press anything to activate them. Okay. Will be medic modules or attacking drones visible? So like a flying small orb above the robot.
Yeah, I mentioned about it. It will be visible. Actually, it's one of the things I really want in the game.
Well, personally, I want it too. Guys, you can share with us. Do you want it? All right. Actually, there are lots of questions when, and well, frankly speaking, we can't answer those questions right now because they're still in the work. Like
you see, guys, we are here trying to receive your reaction on that stuff. And if, for instance, your view of this feature very much differs from our view, we'll have to scrap all the things we've done before and start it from scratch. So right now we can't tell you anything about time.
But hopefully we won't do that. We really hope it. And we hope that you will like this feature. And in general, we are really enthusiastic about it. So we want to implement it, well, as soon as you want. Just leave us comments if you like it. If you like it the way we just introduced them today.
If you don't like it, still leave comments.
Yeah. We need your feedback this or another way. Okay. I think we can call it a day. Thank you for being with us today. It was a real pleasure talking to you, answering your questions. And let us know if you like this format, these streams. Write to us in the comments. Leave your emojis like loves, likes, wows, and happy faces. So just us to know whether we shouldn't do anything like that in the future, or we should do it, or maybe have it on a regular basis, like development diaries, speaking about what have already been done, what will be done in the future, some sneak peeks concept, something like that on a regular basis. Just let us know in the comments.
Guys, really, this is the thing where you can influence, you can change the future of this game we all love, and if you want it, this is the best way you can do it.
Yeah, just watch it yourself, share it with friends, with family, with other pilots. And thank you for being with us today. See you on the battlefield.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.